sessions in Deuteronomy. So let me go ahead and read that, and we'll go ahead and get started. In Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 11 says this: "This commandment I am giving you today, it's not much difficult for you, nor is it too remote. It is not in the heaven as though one must say, 'Who will go up from here to get it for us and proclaim it so that we may obey it?' It is not across the sea as though one might say, 'Who will cross over to the other side of the sea and get it for us and proclaim it to us so that we might obey?' For the one thing is very near to you. It is in your mouth, it is in your mind, and so you could do it." Okay? Verse 15, "Look, I have set before you today life and prosperity on one hand, and then on the death and disaster on the other. What am I commanding you today is to love the Lord, Yahweh your God, to walk in his ways, to obey his commandments, his statutes, his ordinances. Then you will live and become numerous, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land which you are about to possess. However, if you turn aside and do not obey, but are lured away to worship and serve other gods, I would declare to you this very day that you will certainly perish. You will not extend your time in the land that you're crossing the Jordan to possess." So today, I invoke this covenant here, heaven and on earth, as a witness against you, that I have set life and death, blessings and curse before you. Therefore, choose life, so that you might and your descendants may live. I also call on you to love the Lord your God, to obey him, to be loyal to him, for he gives you life and enables you to live continually in the land the Lord promised to give to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." The word of the Lord. I had my 30th anniversary, and that's this reunion for high school. Some of you guys are like, that's... Oh, wait, did I say it wrong? Oh, anniversary. Okay, my bad. Okay. Let me start that over. Don't record that, okay? I had a 30th reunion anniversary for my high school. That was in San Diego, and I've been traveling much. And so I was just telling someone, it's been a while since I've been back. And I was joking around with some of my friends that are here for the summer for San Diego. You guys have seen me more than, and heard me preach, more than even up here. And it's actually kind of true. But I've had a lot of chance to reflect, because if you've ever done your 30th anniversary, which most of you may not have, right? Sorry, 30th reunion. Okay, it's going to keep going. There is a lot of things going on. It was timely. As you guys know, I've been having a chance of reflection, because I've been in transition of jobs, trying to figure out what to do. There's a lot of great ministry things going on in our church and DaleWorks and other things, and other partnerships with church stuff. And one of the things was planning this 30-year reunion. And it's a journey, because you get a chance to reflect. You're kind of looking back, you're kind of looking forward, mostly looking back. So as I'm planning this, part of this, we're planning in this, having these bi-weekly planning meetings, or we'll get together. So I was the ASB president back when I was in high school. And if you don't know, the people who plan the events are supposed to be the senior class leaders, president. So the senior class leader, they had planned the last couple ones, and we had visited maybe maybe last year during Thanksgiving, and I went to her house by myself, and they were like, "Oh, we're not going to do the 30th." And you know me, I just blabber. "No, why can't we do it? Let's go do something." And then the two people that are planning, like, "Well, I guess if Josh wants to do it, let's go do it." Not knowing they forgot that I didn't go to the 10th or the 20th. So I not gone to any other one, and including this. So this is this one. So, and as you guys may not know, I don't usually go to these events unless I'm planning it or something like that, because I want to waste my time or something like that. And then my wife will say to me, "That's kind of arrogant of you." I'm like, "That's probably true, okay?" So we're planning this event, and we finally get to this event, and we are going to, and there's a lot of chance to reflect. I'm by myself. My family's not with me. My dog's not with me. My family's not with me. I didn't even really get to see my daughter, who lives in San Diego, that whole weekend, pretty much. I land, okay? And I go to the first event, and I said, I'm going to go meet with my high school friend. So I meet with my high school friend. He does ministry in San Diego. He's one of the people we support. And so I meet him for coffee and lunch. He's like, Josh, I'm not going to go to the reunion. He doesn't want to go to the reunion. But I'm planning it. No, I'm not going to go to the reunion. I used to hang out with this guy. He's like, but you could tell everyone that I found the Lord. Because back then, he was in his journey. He was like doing crazy things, like cheating, gang, bunch of random stuff. And he did not find the Lord. He was ditching class. And he was like, we should go. But he now loves the Lord, does serving God, doing all these things. He's like, fine, I'll go with you because we have this Friday event where we'll go to the campus and we get to the Hall of Fame. There's a Hall of Fame, okay? Our school has a Hall of Fame. So they open up the Hall of Fame. We go, so I'll go with you if we go pray together. So I said, fine. So we go to the campus. We go pray on our old high school campus. We do kind of like a prayer walk, and then we go back, and he comes to listen. He's not going to go to the reunion or even the dinner after, but we do the prayer walk. Come back in. Him and I saying, he's seeing kids because he ministers a lot of the kids. What he does in his ministry, he's gotten into cards. You guys ever have these baseball cards? Remember I gave you guys some free ones that were one time that were just cards? Benny took all of them. But anyway, so he gives out like a Steph Curry card and just gives them out with a Bible verse. And that's how he outreach. And that's how he's doing this. That's his ministry now. He used to go play basketball, but as you get older, he still does that. But he goes to these card conferences and gives out. That's what he does. It's exciting. I seen him. We were sitting there at that lunch, and he gave out like 3 cards already, and we were just talking to, that's what he's doing, evangelism and loving God that way. So he's going to do that. He gave me a couple, but Ozzie Smith, if you guys know who that is. Right? We were talking. And then on the campus, he started giving me out cards, and he was doing his thing, and then we went to the Hall of Fame. And in the Hall of Fame, there's a lot of great reflection too. So I'm like, I didn't know Adam Lambert went to our high school, and they're like, oh yeah, you guys know the vice president's wife went to our high school, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. Little drama because some people want to claim her or not. I don't know. And then there's this conversation of Eric Chavez, who was on my class. He's a baseball player. You guys know, third baseman, A's. He was going to come to the reunion, but anyway, long story. So he's on the Hall of Fame, and there's all these different people in the Hall of Fame. And I started looking, and there's people that you guys would know. And it's like in this moment, we're passing out tears, we're planning, and at that point, it's really weird because you don't see these people. I have not seen some of these people that walked in for 30 years. Go to this dinner. It's not dinner. It's at a bar. It's in San Diego, in Rancho Penasquitos. We go to this bar, and everyone coming in, and there's all these people that they're like, Josh. They don't actually say this. The first thing they say is, oh my gosh, vote for Josh. Because that was my tagline. 30 years! 30 years, my slogan, and they still using the slogan. They don't even say Josh. I don't know who they are, but they know, oh my gosh, vote for Josh. And different people age differently, so I don't really know who these people are exactly. Don't record that. But anyway. And then my friend, who I used to hang out with, because we're hanging out with the crew, you have a crew, she's like, she keeps going, Josh, who is that? I'm like, can you stop asking me? I don't know any of these people. Just because I'm playing doesn't mean I know. Go ask, she goes, oh, who's that? Who's this? And I don't know, but seems like they know me because they go, oh my gosh, vote for Josh. It's happened 4 times during this informal, not officially planned reunion. And I said, the reason why I want to do the reunion, I said, hey, I told the 2 other planners who were meeting, if we're going to do this, let's make sure that usually you outsource. Let's do it ourselves. And let's go ahead and pass something that people obviously if you go to these reunions, you opt in. If you opt in, usually you go to these because you opt in because something good. People who don't go to these reunions because they opt themselves out if things aren't going well, okay, right? If you know. So they're going to this reunion, and we're saying, let's make sure that we I won't say bless, but I want it to be life-giving. I wanted people to be refreshed. I want them to look back and look forward. I want them to look, so I went a little preachy with them, right? That's why I'm willing to, that's what I'll do if we go plan this reunion. So that's what we did. And throughout the whole night, by the end, everyone's like, that was the best reunion. Like, I can't believe you guys did all this, right? And we had times of conversation. There was all this program that I said, let's not do it. Let's just let everyone just talk. And at the end, we did this final rah-rah of like trivia that got everyone together and got a chance to MC. That's why I lost my voice and couldn't preach the following Sunday at San Diego, because my voice was so hoarse hanging out with these folks. Now, what does that have to do with today? Choose life. Well, see, Moses is the character. He has his story. And in Deuteronomy, it's one of the 5 books that Moses wrote. They call it the Torah. Anyone know that? So anyone know the first 5 books? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. So it's the last of the 5 books. Okay? And you got to think, in the midst of his journey, his story, reflecting back, we're at the last couple chapters of this story. Now, my 30 years is not the end of my story, but it is a part of the story. I'm in the, I don't hold the middle, but whatever. It is a moment of milestone. And it's a moment of reflection back. So here we get to this moment where Moses in his 5 books, there's some important things that he would like to say, passing the torch in the journey to these people that he's been leading. Now, you have to understand in his reflection, not everything always worked out. He's messed up. He started off his journey in his 40 years, like this 120 years, like he started off his journey in a certain way. Like he had a certain level of upbringing, maybe if you guys remember a story, in a certain posh environment, and then all of a sudden God called him in a moment of calling of burning bush, and then there's just this amazing story, and then times where he didn't want to do what God wanted him to go do, and part of it was he felt insecure, so he had his brother do some stuff, and there is this ongoing, and then sometimes God blessed them, and all these amazing, miraculous things, but at the same time, he's frustrated with the people he's serving, so to the point where he even broke these commandments, and because he was just so mad, and then God still redeemed him, and there's these ups and downs, and that might be your story too. Where sometimes you choose what you choose, and you may not choose what God chooses, or you're just in this journey. And maybe it's earlier on in your journey, where you're just like, I haven't chose anything because my mom and dad chose everything for me. Or for some of you, like, I'm beginning to make choices on what I'm going to do with my life, and I'm checking with my parents to see if they're okay. And sometimes my parents, I won't tell my parents because I know what they're going to say, but I'm going to do whatever they don't say anyway because I got to learn the hard way. Some of us have made choices, are regretting our choices. Some of you are looking at your marriage and going, what did I get myself into? Some of you guys are looking at your career and doing the same thing. But there's choice. And Moses himself recognized that there is this story of choice, and he was reflecting to get to this spot, to kind of look at his journey, and he wanted to pass something. And he was very black and white about it. Like, he was almost to a point where he's trying to make a very distinct point to everyone. If you go down this path, there's life. If you go down this path, there's death. Like, bold. If you go down this life, there's blessing. If you go down this life, there's cursing. It kind of like his experience that he had, because he was trying to make a very bold statement as he's passing the torch, as he's living, as he reflects on his journey, as he's doing the hallmark at the 5th book, at the last couple chapters of the Torah, or of this book series that he's writing, this moment. And so you have to understand this journey that he has from the bush to the edge. You get this construct where he's like, so this is kind of important. Because he probably reflected on his life, on sawing the choices. He had people that he had ministered to and saw their choices. Days where the people that he served or he walked with choose to even make crazy statements like, oh, I miss those days when we were enslaved and building bricks. I miss those days. All we get to eat is manna every single day comes from the sky. I miss those other days. All we're eating is the same thing over and over again. Does that kind of sound familiar? That's what Israelites were doing while they were stuck. It's kind of like, what is this scenario where you see God providing and then you get bored by it and all of a sudden you're like, I wish I had the old. Does that sound familiar? Even in my reunion on that night, I'm like, do I wish those old days? I go to my Sunday, that Sunday when I go preach, and one of the pastors down in San Diego comes up to me and says, Josh. He's like, I just came from my 30. He makes a comment. He's like, those 30-year reunions are very dangerous because they might spark moments. Have you heard of the people that go to the reunions and then they rekindle some romantic relationship with an old, call it like high school thing, that they what if scenario? I'm like, dude, this guy's just trying to rage bait me. And you can only imagine which pastor that was. You guys know who he was, okay? And I'm like, just calm down, right? But it's so funny because it's somewhat true. Because in some senses, people look back at what the what ifs in the journeys and look back on life and think about what could be. And some of you, you're just starting. Don't worry, you're experiencing what it is today of the what ifs. And I genuinely think that from the bush to the edge, Moses comes to this passage and begins to do, because the reality is he comes to the main point, which is, hey guys, you guys got to choose life. But what is the choosing of life? And it's not really choosing life just for life, but it's choosing a person. When he says choose life, he says choose him. Choose Yahweh. Choose God. But that word, Yahweh, is that personal relation, personal name of God. It's like choosing when someone gives you that personal nickname, right? You guys have that person, like the person that they know personally. Yahweh, like choose him. You guys know him. Not just God, but like you know him. Choose him, because that's when you choose life. If you don't choose him, then you're not choosing. You're going to choose death. So life, in many senses, is choosing him. And he says it in a very distinct way. He says that choosing him, it's like, how that looks like is that there's a nearness in the passage. That the words that you heard, that God is near. So choosing him is not choosing him far, but he's nearness. And the words that he says is near. To the point where those of us who have come in the new covenant later on, it's in our hearts. In Jeremiah, like the prophecy would say that the nearness would even be like the word in the gospel that we hear. Like it's in our hearts. And it's clear of what that choice is. That not only is the choice is near, but it's also clear. And that it is not simply this idea of choosing life generically, but choosing life is choosing him. But what does that choosing him look like? Well, let's start with the first one. First one is that God says that the word is near. This is the commandment I give you today, not too hard. It's not too hard for you guys on heaven and earth or beyond the sea, but that he is very near to you. You sense the nearness of God? Some of you guys might be looking back at a 30-year reunion again and kind of looking back and going, oh, I remember when he was near. Maybe it was a retreat time. Maybe it was in your missions. Maybe it was in college. Maybe it was, but there were moments of that God was so close and so near. What is that? Can you kind of reflect? But today you don't see him as close, or maybe not near to you. For some of you, you've never had that experience of the nearness of God. And I want to share with you that God is here right now. He's active in your life, whether you see it or not. And you still can choose whether you see it or not, whether you will choose him, but he's in your life. You could keep doing your thing. You could keep choosing other things. You could keep recognizing. You could think that he's far away, but that epiphany that he's right near is so profound. The only illustration I had for me when I first got the idea of the nearness of God is that God's always there, is this idea where I really felt like after school, it's that story for me, after school, we would watch Saved by the Bell, and all of a sudden the garage door will open, and now it looks like parents are near, so we need to turn off the TV and go do our homework. You guys ever feel that? It's the fear of the near. That's how somebody, of authority. And I know we talked about it last Sunday with Pastor Michael, but really, it's not that. It's like God is always there. It's like today's time when you always have cameras. Your parents always have cameras throughout the whole house, can watch everything you do. Who has a camera in your room? Kid, youth? Oh, someone's very passionate raising their hand. Okay. Someone needs the camera. But why don't we just put today, let's put cameras in all your guys' rooms, everywhere you're at. Oh, wait a minute. Is there not God always near? Isn't the fact, the reality is there's nothing hidden? Imagine you had a camera watching everything you do. Oh, some of you guys are freaking out right now. Okay, I see the fear on your face. But in that nearness, he also says that it's not just the idea of overlording on what you should or shouldn't do. It's the fact that he's near in a relationship, in a loving, caring relationship. What if something bad happened to you? Don't you want someone to care for you that is near? Yes. He'll give you the hug, give you the care. What I loved about the anniversary is we got in these meetings and saw everyone. And even though I didn't know some of these people's names, they gave me a weird hug. They would just hug. Everyone hug each other. I'm like, why is everyone hugging each other? Like, we haven't seen each other in 30 years. And there was just one common, simple thing that we went to in high school together 30 years ago. But yet, there was some sort of warm greeting. Weird. And some of us here have even way more intimate moments of conversation. And God himself is always near. And he says that he is going to, someday, that you're going to experience this deep love for him, that he doesn't live only in heaven, that he came down, that he's not in heaven, he's not across the sea, that he's near you now, that here in this moment, this nearness is not just something of fear, but of warmth, of an embrace, of a presence, of a comfort. Oh, dare I say, a confidence. Oh, I love this one. If God is near and he's with you, can you not accomplish anything and don't have to worry? People have been asking me, Pastor Josh, how are you dealing with your new job? Like, it's super sad. It is a little sad and concerning. But I already got to the point very quickly, like, this is like, it's all good, because if things good happen or things bad happen, God is near. And I have confidence in him that it's part of whatever is unfolding story that he's doing in my life and in the lives of others, in our lives, of what God wants to go do. He is near. And I don't know what you may be going through, but hopefully you find comfort today, a refreshment, that if you confess that Jesus is the Lord, that you will be saved with your mouth, that he is near, that the word of God is here speaking to you, that it's not me, it's not some other thing, but God himself, Spirit of God, is saying that if you've forgotten, he's right here. He's with you. He's always there. Not the camera, but it's like presence. Now, that gives me comfort. But also gives me comfort that even though he's near, some of us still choose to ignore him. Even though he's near, some of us choose to pay attention to other things. And that's what Moses is trying to get to. The lack of paying attention. The lack of allegiance, even. It's one thing to pay attention. It's another way to get allegiance. He's starting with the allegiance issue. What have you decided to pledge allegiance to? And the reality is that for many of us, we have said, I'm going to have allegiance to this or that. This is a really good time right now. Because right now, all I've been asking people is like, oh, you've been following World Cup? Who are you rooting for? All I'm saying is, who's your allegiance? How many guys saw the NBA Finals? People are like, none of us have skin in the game. I didn't mind if either one win, but somehow I had to pick a team. Did you have to pick a team? Okay, no one. Anyone know the NBA Finals, basketball? And I'm just like, there's no reaction today. What's going on? Basketball, the Knicks versus the Spurs. For some reason, these Knicks are like, it's a very big deal for people. For some people, their life has changed. Their life has changed all of a sudden because they won this championship. It reminds me of those of us who saw the Warriors win after 40. Like, it was like that feeling. It's been that long. And when we saw them win, now we're like, again, we're like greedy. Like manna from heaven that comes, and now we're like, we want another championship. Okay? But it's a matter that Moses is trying to get to. What's your allegiance? What do you have allegiance to? And I want you to take a moment to have a reflection. There's no middle. You have to pick one, he says. You either choose life or you choose death. Or basically he's saying you either choose him or you don't. Are you going to choose life? And that's hard because for many of us, we love to live our lives with Jesus or God plus. We don't live our lives with God, period. And that's hard. That's hard. And so what is the primary allegiance that you have? That doesn't mean you don't have other allegiance, but what is the main thing that you ally yourself? What is the thing you rely on? Some of us do rely on your career and job. That's what you've chosen above all things. Some above your spouse, some above your kids, some above. That's the thing you're going to go to. I've been through that. I have done that. I've done that. Some of you guys might be in the same bucket of maybe it's not your work, maybe it's your school. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's your money. Maybe it's the getting of money. Some of you guys are not money people, so it's all good, okay? Maybe it's the hobby. But what is it? Maybe, what is the choice? And that choice is the thing that when you wake up, you're going to think about. I'll say this, in the midst of the story, of the unfolded story of Moses recognized this. He saw that in all the different seasons of life, there's a choice you have to make. And I think he was trying to get to this as a moment. He says there's a macro choice, choose life. But I don't think it's just this macro, I chose him, which many of us have sitting in this room. And some of you haven't. I challenge you to choose Jesus as your Lord and Savior, to find ultimate life. But for some of it, it's the micro choices. When I wake up, what do I choose? And those micro choices lead to the macro allegiance that you have. What is that choice that you make when you wake up? I always say that there are moments where you have to have a pause and figure out what matters to you. And that's why some of us go on these retreats. Because retreats is a pause where you get to, some of you guys go on these mission trips. Because mission trip is a pause because okay. Some of you may go on a vacation. Well, vacation, you're just trying to find the next entertaining thing. But theoretically, if you actually have a true vacation and reflect, then maybe you can. Some of you guys choose after lunch. Most of the time, it's like, I'm going to choose, well, then I'm going to go to lunch. Most of the time, half of you don't. Because you're going to choose your sleep or entertainment or something over spending fellowship with someone else. Because I'm going to ask a question to give back and to give. Because not asking here, someone speaks to you, but it's at lunch where we actually minister one another weekly. Oh, is that why we do LSL? Yes, that's why we do that. But if you're not physically there, you don't have that. That's how we do it. Everyone has to do it. Don't feel guilty. Okay? I'm just saying, in general, it's choice. And what you do with your time, your energy, what's the choice in choosing him and what God may want you to do? What's the choice? Some of you guys, we can go back to old school, like, do you spend time, have you ever opened up the Bible on your own? Not because of a program, on your own. Have you decided to worship and turn on the worship music, not only because someone's there? And it's not because you're guilty, because is there something you've just chosen? I feel like I want to just choose. And I don't want you to be guilty to choose. You just choose because it's a natural progression. For some of us, we've been burdened by that choice. You're like, you better choose, you better choose, you better choose. And I think right here, I think there's a sense that you might feel the tone of, like Moses, you can feel the tone of, like, you better choose life or choose death. And there's a fear and not fear. But I like to see it as a different, I see it as Moses' reflection, I think. He's kind of saying, there is life or death. There's no middle ground, but you got to make a choice. And for you, Israel, I hope you guys are choosing life. That's what I want. But he's not trying, he really thinks that this is like, or you're going to fall into the other gods. You're going to worship those other gods. It's right there. And you may not know what that might look like, but it may look in different ways. Some of you guys have those parts. And I always say some of us are in the latter mode for the next title. Some of you guys might have a new address. Some of you guys might have a better resume to add. And don't get me wrong, I tend to have myself, I'm not worried about my resume right now. I'm worried about the kids' the BYF resume. So I actually started a company just so I can help you, BYF, have a resume. And I'm like, is that really what I want to teach you guys? To have a really good resume to get a good job? I don't know. Yes, I started a company just for you, Nico. Got you. Okay. Sorry, he's paying attention very attentively. So now he's not looking at me anymore. Okay, but maybe it's the image. Some of you guys are focused. Some of you guys don't care about the image anymore because you guys got married. But for the rest of us, it's about the fit, okay? It's about how it looks like. You have your physical image, and you also have your online image. How you guys curate the online image. And the reality is that God teaches us life or death. It's either the way of life or the way of death. Do you choose to go ahead and say, I'm going to love you, God? I know that's very cliche, so I wanted to break it down. It says, do you pledge allegiance? Do you have love and loyalty only to God and God himself, him? And do you kind of say, because I love you, I'm going to do what you're asking to do, not because I have to. Like when you go do a chore because your spouse asks you to do it, is it because you could do it? The first reaction is, why is someone telling me what to do? Or it could be the other way around. It's like, I'm going to do it because I love her, my family. That's what he's saying. I choose to love in the decisions I make. And when you tell the person what to do, are you telling them because, no, you're telling them out of love. Okay? Do you hold fast and live in him, or do you let go and I'm going to let God do his, I'm not going to let go of God, or do you actually find a place where do you choose him? In some senses, is that choice really there? Because he is really your life. He is the life. It's him that you choose. And when you set your mind on him, you choose life. And how you choose life, it's a fact, it's what I said, it's a pledging of allegiance. It's a paying of attention. And in many senses, it's a holding fast. And there'll be times where, like winds and rain and difficulty and stuff, you have to hold on. And that's okay. That's why they use this word persevere. Hang in there. You might have forgotten, but he's still there. He's not going to let you not handle anything you go. So just continue to love, to hold fast, to do what you can and the best you can, to do what God wants you to do. And they call that obey. And for us, I don't know about, I didn't skip through. Okay. And what I think for many of us, this gives you this idea of life. But most of us think of it as just a simple, I just want to have, but I want you to think of not just living in like this moment or this time in macro, but think of it as a holisticness of breath. I choose life. In the Hebrew word, this idea of, in the past, is choose life. It's not a singular life. It's choose living or choose plural. It's a plural in the Hebrew. So this choose life is a plural construct. And I sense that there's not only choose life for me individually, I actually think there's something about us choose life together, holistically. That warms the soul. Most of us say, I'm going to choose life. So if it's a mini thing, it's like choose life with your spouse. Choose life with your family. Choose life with your children. Let's choose living together. Let's choose living. Let's choose him as plurals. I don't know if there's actually a way to describe it. Ben's like, what's going on with your grammar? I'm not into that, okay? But the choosing of hymns, Okay? The totalness, the plurality, the connection, the community, the life, the family, that when you choose him, he's like, we choose life holistically, is this kind of view. And that is when Moses looks at it. And he gives me a glimpse of this 30-year anniversary. It's like when he looks back, what is it that you hope for? That the ideal state is that you're in a community and a life that people can see you, that sees him. That's the dream. So that's why I always say for you guys in junior high, high school, especially high schoolers going, and then some of us are in college and going to college, isn't it the value to find a community that you can choose like together, to be seen, to be accepted, find the right community? It's so important. Because depending on who you choose, they might help you choose something else of the other gods. They may not choose him. It continues on in the same point that I think Jesus had, and I think John pointed back to, from the moment when Moses in his hallmark moment, that John also came to this idea of the same thing in the Greek, in the New Testament, whereas this it's not just a mere existence. I choose life just to live, meaning exist. But I choose the very life of God, like Chien. This idea of this where Moses had to choose is poured out of abundance, because in John chapter 10, it's like that they may choose this abundant life. This pouring out life. Not just individually, but together. The ultimate dream. And so don't try to do other gods that don't last. These false poser style. These false things that don't matter and don't last. Choose him. You can imagine Moses kind of like writing this out like in this hallmark moment. It's got to like this climax, this third wave, this movement of this story that Moses is trying to get this point across. That he eventually gets to the same idea of this idea of you choose Jesus. He is the only way, the truth, and this life, this abundant life. You can't find anything but him. So can you just stop? Can you just stop thinking you're going to find something better? Something better than? It is not, sometimes we get stuck on the worldly stuff, but sometimes even in the church we get stuck on the stuff that don't even matter. That's why it just irks my soul that even in the church today, they just focus on some sort of issue that's not Jesus. And the life that he gives, the life-giving gospel that comes, that heals, that restores, and it becomes something else. So what does the Lord require of you that you might choose this day? Well, in a very similar passage, we weren't going to study today, but we're going to hear about a little bit this torch passing to Joshua. And at the end of Joshua has the same hallmark thing at the end of his story. And Joshua he says another choice, almost as if this is just kind of in the same way. He's like, choose this. Choose life, is what Moses says. And Joshua says something similar. He says, choose this day whom you will serve. He expands on it, in my view. And he says, choose this day whom you will serve. And I think for some of us, we may not recognize that word serve. That serve is this idea of to work. Just choose this day who you will work, who you will serve, who you will worship. That word in Hebrew is avad, and that concept is who are you going to give yourself to? Serving, worship, work for, serving. Not serve as in just generic serve that we always think, but where's the wholeness of where we have our allegiance and we do something with that allegiance is what Joshua gets to. You say, I pledge allegiance to Jesus. Okay, your allegiance, so what do? Some of you guys, I'm a pledge allegiance to Jesus. It's like, I am a fan of the Knicks. But I won't tell anyone I'm a fan of the Knicks. I don't wear any orange or blue. I've never been to a game, but I'm a fan. Some of you guys are fans of a certain team, and you wear the swag. You're like, I am allegiance, but I'm all in. You've met some of those people. Like my friend who wanted to pray at my high school. He's all in. He is wearing the gear right in front of him, saying, every single person I meet, I'm going to tell them, have a moment of telling them a chance to give them something of the Word of God. Like, I'm going to do it. And between the amazing place where you're at and where you're at, what is it that you have chosen to serve and to live? And it's the same choice across all ages and all seasons. It doesn't matter what seasons of age. To choose life, to choose Him, to choose serve. It doesn't matter if just like the calling it was for Moses at the end of that story to the Israelites as they were beginning this moment to go into this promised land. Just like Joshua is passing the same torch. It's like a 30-year reunion. What's the message you want to give to these people before you? Like, what's that hallmark moment? And I feel as though for them it was to choose this, to make sure that you have something of a deeper focus of choosing life and choosing a relationship with Him. So today, I challenge you that maybe you could do something. Whether you recognize it or not, you have idols. You have other things you worship. You do. Be honest. Be aware. And then on a daily basis, I challenge you to wake up. And your first prayer could be like, God, I choose you. It's a simple thing. You may throughout that day forget, but you choose Him. It's not, I'm going to try to choose you. You can say that too. If you don't want to overcommit, I have to try. If you want to lower the commit, I might choose you. Okay, you can be honest. Or you can say, I choose you. Just like when you come in worship and you sing these songs and you don't always know, but you try to get there. And then maybe you do love the Lord, or you love us, and you keep an eye out to the things that are overlooked. It could be overlooked with your spouse. It could be overlooked with your kids. It could be overlooked not about what they should or shouldn't do, or not about where they should or shouldn't go, but what is overlooked at work or something, like the people. And how do you lead in your house? Kind of like Joshua, because it's like he gets to a point where he chooses whom you'll serve. And then what the response was, I just want to say, the response. There's no response you'll see later next week, but the response in Joshua was, me and my house, we will choose the Lord, was the response. Okay, we're not doing that. That was like the thing. It's like, choose this day whom you'll serve, Joshua says. And then they're going to go, well, me and my house will serve the Lord, is like the big statement back. And all they're saying is, it's not just a me, it's we. And whatever you're leading in the context where you're at, how do you serve the Lord? Or do you choose to keep serving yourself? Because the truths are the same. He's near. It's clear. And it's Him. And so what is it that you're going to pass down on this for you fathers? It's Father's Day. So I'm going to speak to you guys. Or future fathers, or, yeah, Nico, got you. Future fathers. Remember when I was in my college fellowship. Okay, now I'm going back not 30 years ago, maybe 10 years ago when I was in college. Just kidding, I wasn't in college 10 years ago. You're like, you're in high school that long? Yes. It was in our college fellowship, and they were doing a Father's Day gathering. It was one of the most profound, weird gatherings. They were giving out these gift cards to all the fathers. I guess there were not a lot of fathers because, okay? Not a lot of fathers. It means like a college church. They get all these gift cards. And the deacon comes up and says, Josh, come on up. I'll give you a gift card. Future father. I'm like, what? I'm not even dating. I mean, maybe I was dating. I don't know what I was. But he's like, you're a future father. And so we want to bless. And it was like, it was kind of a joke. I'll go get the gift card. I'm like, well, free money, free gifts. Of course, I want the free thing. And I always kind of reflect that way, but it's something so subtle and so minimal. It kind of like, I've always wanted to be a father. I always wanted just, like, this in a DNA, like, My first car, I'm thinking, okay, or fatherly figure, or fatherly, first car, what do most people want? Maybe guys, want a sports car. I'm like, let me get a Camry. My dream car is a minivan. Because I could take so many people around. I never admit it, but it's like getting a minivan because I could carry a bunch of people. And more people could be less. And so my first car that I got, it was like a brand new car. Parents were freaking out, but I literally drove everyone to everything, everywhere I could. And I enjoyed it. Because I enjoyed the conversations in those cars more than anything. Whether a Costco run or an In-N-Out run or whatever it may be, or somebody needed to move out. I'm so good at packing and moving people. I don't know why I'm flexing that, but I love it. Because I could pack up the car so, and I don't know about you, but in this DNA, from that moment, I always want to be because I want to bless, I want to give, I want to care for. And you fathers, I think Moses was getting something on his day. I think even though there are times where you read the text where he was so frustrated, he had to grow into that fatherly, that figure, that leader, that protector, that role, that provider. But he didn't rely on himself. He relied on the ultimate, a father. And so for us today, I want to challenge you that in the midst of all that, you fathers, as I think about what is it that I passed on, and what was I passing on even while I was driving people around? What was I passing on? I want to challenge you, what is it that you want to pass on? And what you choose to do with your time, your resources, your words, your time, is an illustration of what you want to pass. So choose this day whom you will serve. Remind yourself what those things are. Celebrate with one another. Take the time, like some of you guys are like, I know some of the guys like to do things on their own, definitely. Go push yourself to interact with other people. Reach out to other people, because that's not something, but choose what it is. And Moses himself never got a chance to get to the end. He never got to feel the blessing. He passed it on. He never crossed into that other mode. But for us, we also may hand off to another generation as a community what that might pass on. And you're asking, what have I been doing with my time? I've been spending a lot of time with this thought. What do I want to pass? How do I want to pass? What do I want to give to this next generation of leaders? Some of you who are here in your room as young adults, and young leaders, and youth, you're going to lead. You're going to carry the torch. And I'll give you the same message. Choose life. Choose Him. Let's pray. Choose to serve. Father, on this day, may we try to serve you with all that we have and all that we are. And today I know full well that there is a lot that we covered today. And some of us have our own seasons that we've gone through, and some days we were close and near, some days we seem like you're far. But I encourage us to take a step forward again, to let go of those idols, to draw near again to you. To know that we don't have to look back about what we used to be, but to look forward to what we can be in our relation with you and our calling in relation to you. So would you help us to see, help us to know, help us to dream, help us to be. God, would you do that amazing work in us? In the same way, brothers and sisters, there is one thing I want you to do. And today we'll go ahead and respond in two ways today. You're going to go ahead and worship, but we're also going to have the Lord's Supper. So keep your eyes closed. And as I said, to recognize those idols, there are true things that you've pledged allegiance to that are above, that are not, maybe not God, and you've been oscillating. So for you guys, I want you to go confess your sin. And then when you're ready, I want you to go take the Lord's Supper. Because in that same way, it's this very moment, this very act where I want you to go take the body and blood of Jesus Christ, where He chose you so that you could choose Him. He chose you. He chose you. You're already chosen. So stop. Embrace it. He loves you. So be loved. And I encourage you that out of that love that He has for you, may you just love Him above all things. And when you take the Lord's Supper today, I want you to take it with a warmth. and a smile, that he's forgiven these sins on the cross, body and blood, so that you could choose to serve him with all that you are. Can you do that today as a response? So go ahead, take a moment if you saw the practical things. Maybe it's choose idols, and maybe there's something you need to choose to serve. Whatever it might look like in your life. And I know some of you guys are struggling, so I don't want to not call that out. Things are broken. I want you to pray and surrender that to God. Whatever it might be, a broken work thing, a broken marriage thing, a broken kid thing. I don't know what it is. Let him help you. Stop trying. Stop trying. Stop trying. It is in the body and the blood that we find the redemption. It is the Moses is calling for us, that he was pointing to this very moment of the Savior Jesus. And so I want us to get back to that. Choose life, choose him, choose to serve. God, we come back here in this place, this space. And my brothers and sisters, lead us in response and worship. As we trust you, as we place our trust in you, as we respond to you, would you do that? So brothers and sisters, keep this time in prayer. Invite the deacons to come up. You guys can come up as you feel led. I encourage you to remain standing after you're done and just worship. Lay yourself up. I encourage you to even just lift up your hands and surrender, because you're going to trust him. You're going to let it all go and stop caring what other people think, because you're done with all that. You've chosen him. Everything else doesn't matter anymore. Probably should have done it a while ago, and you're going to remind yourself that today, in this very moment, in this place. And so when you take the body and the bread and the cup, take it with a great joy. And I won't even say, take it with a smile and a joyfulness. That we're here with him. He loves us and he gives us life. Because at the hallmark, at the core of this communion today is life. And that life blends with him. By choosing life, we choose him. By choosing life, we choose Jesus. By choosing life, we choose God. Oh, I love it today. At the hallmark of it all. At the end of the story, let's do this.